Hello and welcome to Real Actors, Real Answers, the podcast where you are the star. Today, I am privileged and honored to interview for you and for myself, Andrea Osvart. She is from Budapest. She has so much to offer. She is an international movie star. She's a writer. She's an author. And she's a dancer. We're going to talk more about that in a minute or two or three. Andrea, how are you doing?
Hi, David. Nice to see you. I'm great. And hello to everyone.
So tell me something. How long have you been acting?
Oh, nearly 25 years.
Has it been a fun ride?
Oh, it's definitely been a roller coaster because I started when I was still living in Budapest in Hungary. And my first movie, I did my first movie when I was like nearly 20 years old. So it was a long time ago. And it was a very privileged situation. And I'm considering myself one of the luckiest girls on earth because my first movie was with opposite Brad Pitt and Robert Redford in a movie that was shot in Budapest. So it was a good start.
What was the name of that movie?
It's called Spy Game.
I think I've heard of that.
It's an amazing movie. It's still evergreen. It's enjoyable. It's the late Tony Scott directed it, and it's still a lot of fun to watch. It never gets old.
What role did you play?
I had a very small part. You probably know when American productions come or go abroad, they usually just hire day players to play small parts with one line or two. And that's how I started. I played the niece of Robert Redford for a scene.
How was it? Wow. How was it like playing off of Robert Redford?
Yeah, can you imagine? I was 20 years old. I could barely speak English back then. And one day I got a phone call asking me, "Are you available tomorrow?" And I said, "What for? It depends." And then they say, "You have a scene to shoot with Brad Pitt at 7 a.m." And I go, "Okay, I'm available." Yes. So I shot a scene with Brad Pitt first, and the second scene was shot in London with Robert Redford, and he was really generous with me. He could see that I was a beginner. I was still embarrassed, and I remember him telling me great advices because I was kind of a model back then who was just starting acting, and he advised me to definitely go to an acting school and work on my craft.
That's first class. I mean, Robert Redford
Absolutely.
gave you advice. That's a
Yes.
wonderful start. So that was your first film, correct?
Yes, it was my first speaking role. Yes.
And you worked with Brad Pitt. I have to ask, how was that? How was Robert different from Brad?
Brad was funny. I was immensely embarrassed. And I remember people talking about him coming on set while I was being made ready with my makeup. And I just remember in the periphery of my eye line that a shadow just walked in the room. And without looking at him, I knew it was Brad. And he was looking at me. And he was checking out who he had to play this scene with. And I tried to be professional, and I looked at him and I introduced myself politely. But I was so young, so stiff, and so inexperienced that we started to rehearse. And the scene was supposed to be that he knocks on the door. I open the door and I give him instructions where to go. And during the rehearsal, he saw me very stiff and embarrassed. So he made a little joke with me. Instead of, following my instructions and leaving, he just stepped in the door in which I was standing and locked it behind himself. So the whole crew was just whistling and clapping. He really tried to make me lose up a little bit. So he gave me a wonderful private moment. I was with him for at least 5 seconds in the same room, just him and I.
That was very gentlemanly of him to
Mm-hmm.
recognize, okay, she's nervous. I'm
Yeah.
working with her. She's working with me. But there's a heart there. It's not just professional. It sounded like he had that moment where she needs help.
Yes, probably because everybody was so busy with whatever they were doing, but he wanted to connect with me. And of course, it's not only I needed help, but he needed my help too. He wanted me to be good. He needed me to be good. So, as an actor, as actors should co-work and cooperate, he really helped me with that.
Now, I'm going to ask this. There's so many, you have such a fascinating career and so many talents and abilities, but I have to go with this because he was one of my favorite actors. You worked with Heath Ledger once?
I did. Yeah, I'm really lucky. And it was maybe a similar experience, almost just as big as with working with Robert Redford or Brad Pitt, because we worked together in Casanova in Venice. And the same experience. He was wearing a wig in the scene, and he was standing with his back in the room, and I could tell them apart from the other people which one was him, because he had such a charisma, such an energy, such an unexplicable thing in him that you could point out that was him, even from his, I couldn't see his face yet from the back.
It's wonderful. And you've been an actress for 25 years, correct? You said?
Yes.
Okay. One thing that I was very impressed when you first sent me some of your work was you have been on Dancing with the Stars. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. When I was a little girl, I wanted to dance. So when I was approached by the Hungarian version of the Dancing with the Stars, I felt like I could really make one of my dreams come true, because I fulfilled many dreams of mine, but not this one yet. So it was for me a really beautiful experience to have a dance teacher 6 hours a day who used to rehearse with me. And actually, today I am very proud because I learned to dance, and I learned so many things, and I'm not shy anymore of dancing.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that, you were new to dancing because what I saw, which you can see on your YouTube channel, and that's YouTube channel is under your name, correct?
It is, yes.
You were fabulous. You were on point, if I can use that word. You were on point with every move, but at the same time, you did say you practice 6 hours a day.
We practice 6 hours a day, and the reason why I think I was so good in that clip, because I wanted it so bad. And this is a big key, I think, in our profession, that you really have to want it bad, like this willpower, that I'm not going to allow anyone and anything to stop me, or take this away from me, take this moment, and just enjoy myself. And I took my 15 minutes fame in that clip and on stage, and I really enjoyed myself, and that's what you saw.
Thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of work behind this business then.
Yes, and I know you read my ebook in which I write about this. So anybody who gets curious about this ebook is for free. Can I say it? It's if you go on andreaosvart.coach, you just click on ebook and you can download it for free. And I just outlined a few of my principles that I followed in these 25 years of my acting career, because I get approached a lot by actors, and actors ask me how I managed to have such a long acting career, and if I could give them advice. So I try to to put them into words, because I was conscious about my persona, my personality, but I could never name these things really. I didn't need to. But I decided to put my thoughts into this ebook, and thanks for your feedback as well. It turns out to be useful to actors. And yeah, one of these thoughts were to have this purpose that I wanted to fulfill, and to have a goal with every little step of my career that that served my higher purpose.
I love how you just said that, to serve your higher purpose.
It's important that people start to think about what their higher purpose is, because that helped me so many times when I was down or in between jobs, or getting jobs I didn't like, being hired for roles that, you know, were not really what I was expecting. And then I used this higher purpose to send a message to the universe. Why is it okay to accept this job or wait for the right job, the one that I aspire for? And if you're clear with yourself and with your higher purpose, then the universe is listening to you, and it will help you achieve that. But if you don't know what is the purpose, I mean, there is no direction. So even the universe is helpless to guide you, because you don't tell them where you want to go.
That's deep. And what you're saying is what I received very personally when I read your ebook. It was so full of heart and truth and bravery and vulnerability. You talked a little bit in there about, you're welcome. You talked a little bit about how you grew up and some adversity. I'm saying that because you made it public, and how you got through it. It was very relatable in many ways, because not everybody understand. This sounds so funny, but it's true. Not everybody understands artists or actors.
I know, and it's so difficult to explain, even for me sometimes. I catch myself sometimes to become nervous when people say actors are exhibitionists and extroverted. And I either go, okay, you know, I don't want to talk to you, or I get angry. And I get angry because I get emotional. I feel like I have to defend not only myself, but my artists, friends, and colleagues, because we are working so hard to give others, to make other people's lives better, to help them to live their emotions through us. So I almost take it as an insult sometimes. So I hope not only actors would read my ebook, but also like the general population. And I try to make it simple, easy, and short, so it's accessible to everybody. So I hope that people would understand that we actors don't do this for ourselves. If we did this for ourselves, I think we we would do maybe something else, not this, because it's so much pain, suffering, loneliness. Oh my God, and the price is high, what we pay for it. So I'm still having difficulty to explain other people how artists work and how their soul and heart is and functions.
Do you think that it's a challenge for you to express that, because it's so hard to, it's so deep inside of you, to bring it out and put it into words that people will understand?
Maybe that's one reason, or the other reason is because that's so obvious to me. I never thought I had to explain it to others, but I have to understand that people are different, and I can't expect from anyone to be like me or think like me. So I have to learn to communicate, right? And not to take for granted what I feel and know inside me is obvious from the outside. So I have to learn to put that into words and explain.
This may be different to say, but you're bringing this out of me, okay? You're very clear and concise and creative in the way you speak. It's sort of like going to a museum. I love museums. And beautiful painting. you wonder how, if you could talk to the artist, provided they're alive, it's just something beautiful, but the artist probably couldn't explain it how he did it, right?
Yes, it's a perfect metaphor. Thank you. Because it's just like with a painting or a sculpture or a song. I mean, how can you explain how you did that?
Because it wasn't
It's
given to them,
impossible.
it was given to you.
Yeah, you could put it that way. And another thing is that you can't really explain or teach talent. It's just something innate in you. Of course, it's not enough to have talent. You have to have diligence, you have to be humble and work hard in order to, become an acknowledged artist or actor. But but you have a talent in you that is born within, and you don't know how it's there, how it ended up in you, but it's in you. But it's not something that you can teach or explain to people how to do. It's like with football players like Ronaldo. I mean, how could he explain what he does differently? He doesn't do anything differently than others. He goes to the same trainings, but he's just more talented. It's, a golden child.
And I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited about your acting career and your dancing and your writing. But what really gets to me, because I had the same heart, you're an acting coach, right?
Yes, but I'm not coaching acting. Like, I'm not coaching the craft of acting like you do. I'm coaching actors for strategies. Like, I like to point out um, thinking patterns in them that are either blocking them or helping them achieving their goals, and a little bit of helping them with their coping mechanisms and strategic thinking, because I've seen many actors going down the road, giving up or fail, or even more talented than me. They could never get the chance or the opportunity to break through. And this business is cruel, and it's so complex that I think I've understand many things during these 25 years in the film industry. So I think I have a lot of insight, and I'm very happy to share my insight with whom I coaching, and help them to see the big picture and not just a small picture.
That reminds me of what you just said, because I was looking at your website and there's different bullet points that you teach on. And one that really resonated with me is, and help me with this because I don't have it before me, but it had to do with balancing wellness.
Oh yes, because if we are not well inside, and if we are not good, we don't feel good, we can't do good. So I also had to understand, and I paid my dues, and I learned on my own skin. It happened to me as well that I let myself go, I let myself down. I was self-pitying myself, for example, during the pandemic. And I had to really pull myself together and understand that there is only me who can help myself and take responsibility for myself. And first, I have to be well in my head, in my skin, in my body, in order to be able to channel through again some character through my body, through my soul, and in order that people would want to hire me again or be around me again. Because if I'm not well, nobody wants to be around me, right?
That's true. You don't give off your true, lack of a better word, your true aura and who you are as a
Yes.
person.
Yeah, I can't radiate my true self, my essence, who I really am. And people just sense it. They feel there's something wrong or there's a negative energy here.
That's true. That's true, because I've watched some of your work and the different scenes, and there was an energy coming from you of confidence. And I know it doesn't happen overnight, but there was an energy coming from you of, I know what I'm doing. Even in the way you stood or way you entered a car, the way you spoke, and
Thank you.
you're welcome. The movie Transporter,
Yeah.
and how that you were sitting adjacent to him in the car, and his character is a little bit stubborn, and you were tough but elegant, and you were reading his. It was just a great scene.
Wow, thank you. It took me a long time to understand that I don't have to be somebody else to play a character. And it's really a complex thing to understand that becoming a character, you have all these exercises and the lines and whatever the screenwriter and the director has in mind, but still they want you, and it's not by accident that they cast you, because you have something that you have for the character, and that in itself should give you the confidence that they have seen me auditioning. They know better what they've seen. I don't, because I'm, subjective. But that gives me the confidence of having earned this part, not only because I auditioned for it, but because I just have it. And has it happened to you? Because sometimes it happens to me in audition that I know I don't have this in me. I don't have this part. But in other cases, I know I got this.
Very true. No, 100%. I'm kismet with you because this is you have the self-doubt, or popularity known as imposter syndrome, but you go to an audition. Of course, you're going to be nervous. Of course, because you're putting your heart out there, and you're wondering in the back of your mind, are they going to like me? Are they going to like my rendition of this character? You don't know what they're thinking. You'll never know what they're thinking, even if they tell you. It can change 5 minutes later.
And they could even lie to you. I mean, sometimes they just go with an easy answer. They could say, sorry, but we decided for another type. That happened to me. Like,
They
when
told you that?
Yeah, well, after the audition.
Okay.
Because when trying to get me feedback and trying to express that they liked my audition, but they said they went for another type. And then later on I realized it wasn't really a different type. It was just another actress who was also like in her 30s and blonde, the same type. But it's none of your business really what they think, what they say, because they have a completely different world and their dream to become true. And maybe it has nothing to do with your dream. So you have to follow your dream and trust the process. And then I know it's hard, and sometimes me too, I feel disappointed when it happens, when I'm not cast for a role that I would like to play. But then I know, because I've been in it for so many years, that I don't bother anymore. I just let it go.
How do you let it go?
Because I know that in the past 25 years, there's always been surprises, and there will be surprises. And it could be that tomorrow I get a new audition, or I get a direct booking, because it also happened. So it's just this uncertainty that I try to play around and make it an advantage, like explaining to myself and convincing myself that, okay, this didn't go, but tomorrow maybe I get a better chance or a better opportunity.
I love that. I love that mindset, because as an actress, you have to stay in the moment. Actors have to stay in the moment. And the moment you get out of the moment, you get out of the truth. Okay. But even in real life, like how you coach, you got to give yourself credibility. Give me feedback, please. I'm learning from you today. You got to give yourself credibility for what you're doing right now, and knowing that if it doesn't work out like you want it to, there's always the next day or the next audition for the same day.
Yes, and And another thing is like the numbers that I think of. It's a game of numbers. So if I go on 100 auditions, I'm sure that I'm going to book at least one job. So if I fail at an audition, I just count them in those 99 that I have to go to, because I never know which one's going to be the one that I book. So I need the failures, and I need the rejections, and I need to be told no in order to get to the one to be said, yes, you got this.
You're a good
I
coach.
know, but it's something that the actors should take this way and understand. It's helpful to think this way. Even like, it's simple to explain with babies who try to walk. They always fall back and stand up again, and fall again and stand up again. So that's how they learn to walk. So without falling, they would never learn to walk, and they would never be able to run later. So I know I need the failures, because those experiences will teach me something.
I don't get silent usually, but what you said was so poignant and on the mark. And actors should think that way. And that's
Don't you think it's too spiritual or too
no,
on
because
edge? No.
no, because you just used a perfect example. I mean, you would not, any decent parent wouldn't say, come on, and the baby fell. You're a loser. You're never going to walk
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
No, because they
Exactly.
detect that energy, and if they don't understand the voice, I mean the words, you wouldn't say that. No, you would encourage, and you have to do that to yourself.
And you would not even think that they are failures, because they try and they try again. And this is what we are doing constantly. We try and try again. And this is how we actually get filtered out by the systems. And this is very important, but that's the real reason why many actors give up, because they just can't endure the repeated failures, the repeated rejections. But you have to stick around, because it's kind of it's a filter. It's how the system is testing you, probably, if you are strong enough and viable enough to do this job. Because let's be honest, working in an entertainment industry is one of the hardest businesses. It's super competitive, so you have to be strong inside and keep going, and don't give up at one or two failures.
That's true. And what you said too made me think of. I'm going to ask you this: how important is building your network, your support group?
You mean network like agent and manager?
Fellow actors, teachers, coaches. Surround yourself with people that support you, not when you succeed all the time, but also when you're down.
Oh, I think that's even maybe more important. And please look around and be careful with who you work with, because I've seen many coaches around who charge a lot, and they do damage, to be honest with you, with a little bit of not being very mindful with some exercises, and some exercises could trigger your weak spots even deeper and make you even more even less confident than you are already. And actors are super sensitive, so you want somebody on your side who is who means well, and who's not doing this for the purpose of earning money on you, but to genuinely help your career, and to be interested in you, not only your career, because we have seen many movies about how actors are mismanaged. Right now, it's the movie was released, The Blonde or Elvis. We could see how actors get destroyed, or if their person gets destroyed behind the mask of the performer. So you really want to have someone who is almost like a friend to you, be on your side.
I got to ask you, just out of pure passion, what is your website and how can people contact you?
I recently started this website, andreaosvart.coach. There is not much content on it just yet because I'm still developing my program. But I have a few blog posts, my free ebook on it, and you can schedule an appointment with me for free because I think everybody deserves a chance to be talked to and to be listened to. And, we can have a chat for 45 minutes, and I'm going to work on some thoughts together with whoever you are and try to give you an insight of an outer look on your performer life. And we could see if it's a good fit for both and if we want to work together, and me being your secret weapon who you can go to and turn to and guide you for a few months if you want.
You remind me of so many things I've learned in the past through my own challenging times. Relationships are wealth.
Oh, yeah. And I think even our mental sanity can be saved by just connecting to each other. It's really helpful if you have someone to talk to. And I know sometimes it's not your family, it's not your spouse, it's not your sibling, because maybe they're part of the problem. So you need someone far distant who has nothing to do with your life, who is impartial and sees crystal clear your situation, because sometimes you don't see it, right? Because you're in it.
So they can appreciate you like a beautiful painting. Yeah, so you can step back. How you talk, it's like you've taken a beautiful paintbrush and painted this beautiful canvas and it's you through this. Your words, words create everything in your life. Otherwise, why would we have scripts, right?
Words are very powerful. So be careful about who you surround yourself with and what words you let in your ear and in your brain, because words can be stuck there forever.
I am really interested. I might just take the opportunity to have you coach me. I always say, because I always say this. I said, doctors need doctors, dentists need dentists, et cetera, coaches need coaches. We're no different.
I'm happy to coach you. Please, my honor.
Thank you. Yeah. And all of you out there, take a look at Andrea's website and read her ebook. It was deeply moving. I read it maybe a month ago, and her words still resonate inside of me. And it's taught me to approach life and acting a little bit differently, because we're always improving.
Yes. And I know, sometimes we have to rewire our thinking because some things served us for a certain period of time, but then after a while we need new ways of making things work.
Because we've grown, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
On point.
Yeah. All right. Andrea, it's been a privilege and an honor to meet you finally. And
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you for being on Real Actors, Real Answers. And I will definitely talk to you later, and enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too. The same, and all the best to everyone.